Right, I'm going to try again with this jolly old mic. I keep getting it completely wrong this time. Hopefully now you can actually hear me. Hang on. Wow. Hopefully you can hear me. And the next thing is to get my hair out the way, because I see that was in the way. So I've done that now. And let's have a look. What I might have to do is narrate over the top of the film if it isn't as clear as it should be. Let's see. Okay. Now this little bunny. Hang on. We've done some basics of all the highlights that we can see, a little bit of texture that's important in certain places. So now I am going to run over it with a half tone, and in this case I'm just going to use I suppose a pink stone. It's a stone I don't actually use very often, but I've just spotted it in the tray. So what it does is a sort of a half tone with bits in it, if you like. It's a bit softer. I've got some water dripping. I'm not holding it at the moment, but I've got it suspended. I find sometimes these stones I use without water. This will actually be very, very dull. You probably won't be able to see it very clearly, but it'll all be revealed when I take... in fact, I'll take the picture away now. You'll be able to see it better. Yeah, this video has been a particular challenge to make for some reason. I've been getting all the technology wrong. I say I'm not... I've been doing videos for years, but I'm no expert, that is for sure. But anyway, trying very hard to get you to see the basics. Okay, I have dried it and I've got water dripping on it, so you can sort of see this little bunny emerging from the glass. Using this pink stone, I'm now just running over all these clear areas. I don't want to see any clear glass. I'm not too worried about the direction, because it's going to be very smooth and you won't be able to see by the time I'm finished. Just filling in all the areas. Still got a lot of dust on it, but you will now be able to see this little character now emerging from the glass. Okay, you can see, and by using that tracing you're getting as accurate a picture as possible. The rest, when it comes to the hair obviously and the shading and that, crumbs, the little bunny could have been running in the wet, he could be standing in the sunshine, he could be standing in the shade, he could have just brushed up against something, you know. There's so many different things that would change his hair, but the basics are there, so you don't have to worry too much after that. Just try and copy the picture as much as you can. Right, so next on the agenda now is to get some of the basic shading in using a grey rubber. And this I'm just going to run dry, no wet. Good. So, shading. Just look at the picture and just, I'm not even going close to it, it's easier actually to put your magnifier up, sit back, and you can see you've already left little rough places where you want the shadow to be, and sometimes you don't even want it to be any darker than what it is. There are definitely areas that need to be darker. To define it. Look at his little mouth, so sweet. Now going to the whitest area down here, where we used only very rough diamond, we'll still be able to pick up a sort of a shadow. It goes like that. Now you can see where I've only shaded on the diamond, and there it's darker, where I had left a little bit and then put a half tone over the top. Okay, he's dark under here, and this sort of comes out over the front of the foot. Don't you want to rub his little tummy? Let's get those ridges are quite prominent, funnily enough. Okay. It's a very sharp edge to the ear here, but which I've kind of lost, so I will reintroduce it by really whitening up the background hair, and you'll be able to see it. And I'll probably use a darker, harder rubber. And he's got some wrinkly bits in here. You'll notice that I've made my drill go quite slow. It's got some sort of lumpy bits here. It's really strange. Okay. And you can see now how the eye is just joining in. I haven't done any more to the eye. And probably by the looks of things could shade this top a bit. That's a bit more real. It sort of comes around like that. Okay, I'll let you see an update of the picture. Here we've got Bunny. Right, I'll put it there, you can see. Yeah. Okay. So I'm actually going to I'm just going to enhance some of the very, very darkest areas. With a hard rubber. I'm just going to make that little area smoother. You can see how I've kind of, hopefully you can see how I've kind of cut a line in there, which I had missed. And then this is quite dark around here. And then you run the polisher over your nail. That's not very clever. Incidentally, if you are a nail artist, this is the same sort of drill that they're using today these days to that you use these drills on gel nails, especially to take the top layer off before soaking and removing the polish. So anyone who does nail art, you can also do some engraved glass. Okay, how are we doing? We've got a little bit more contrast going on there now. Okay, I'm going to go back into the or shall I do some dark hair? Oh, okay. This is another thing that I do from time to time. So we get a little white Arkansas. Okay, there's your white Arkansas. I have flattened the top. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. I've flattened the top so it's not a sharp point. And by using that on its side, these are quite short actually, they don't fit into everybody's drills, even the micromotors. They fit into not mine, but I've had some people say they can't take the shorter diamond. I mean the shorter burr. It's still 2.35 millimeter shank, but it's a shorter one. You guys will, most of you will have these. Is that a white Arkansas? No, that's not a white Arkansas, just the same shape. Here's one. Here's a white Arkansas. This is the white Arkansas you may be more. The white Arkansas that you may be more familiar with. You can still flatten that top, and use that as well. I actually sell these. I do sell the smaller ones, but it's a little bit risky if your drill doesn't take them. It just actually means that you can't push them all the way in. They just go a little way. You know, you don't let them drop all the way. You just push them in halfway and tighten, and they can't come out, and they're fine. So what this will do is just add some texture where we've got a flat area. I'm just going to flick up and down, and it will just, let's see if you can see that, it will add a movement. A movement that is darker. I'm going to try and zoom in and see. I don't know if that'll focus, but I'm talking about there. These tiny little lines. so you can see how that is darker. It also flicks nicely so you have a nice fine hair. You see that very, very, very fine hair, which will also be a sort of a half tone, so it's ever so subtle, but it gives you the impression of a very hairy bunny. As I say, paints with diamonds, I say. And those of you who know my live chats that I've done in the past on Facebook, I think I've done, yeah, Facebook, and I've now put on my website, it's Lesley Pyke Paints with Diamonds, because that is exactly what it feels like. Even though obviously not all diamonds, you've got your white Arkansas stones and aluminum oxide stones, or easier if you say pink ones, brown ones. This is subtle, but it's hairy. It's more hairy. Right, where have we gone? Right, time to hold this, I think. So let's go over again with a little bit of the soft grey rubber again. Now that I've thrown my picture aside, where's it gone? There it is. And of course, in fact, sometimes the portrait that you're doing, in fact, often is the case. I'm doing a portrait of an animal that's no longer with us. And so, of course, that again makes getting a decent photograph very difficult. And because this is greenstone, because you really want to be able to help the customer create a lovely memory and do your best with what they can offer you for reference. I'm going to go back with the rat's tail that we sharpened earlier on, if I can find it. Oh my goodness. Where are you? So amazing. I never know if I actually put it back into this slot or back into the original. There it is. Okay. Still quite sharp. Still got the sharp edges. And now we're going to look very carefully and add little hairs. Trying not, I'm working dry, I'm trying not to create any chips on the edges. So be quite gentle, because if you do make a little chippy edge, just neaten it with a white Arkansas stone. Right. The hair in the background is quite white, and that nicely shows up the ear. Sitting on the edge of my seat quite awkwardly to try and get around here so that I can still see this, and I hope my hair is not in the way anymore. Gosh. Same as, when watercolor artists, I suppose any artists, are painting a building where you can see all the bricks. They do not paint every single brick. They give an impression. So I am not painting every single hair, although it may look like it at the moment. In many areas that will just be a shade, but by especially these tiny little hairs coming out the edges and the theme carrying on inside, it gives the impression of all the hair. The hairy little bunny, and there's no hard outlines to flatten it. I'm mainly picking up where there's highlights. Engrave what you can see. So you must engrave what you can see. And engrave the light always. Now if you flick upwards, okay, flick down over the edge, but as you're going up into a darker area, if you flick upwards, then automatically the impression is that there are darker hairs coming down. I'll demonstrate that another time on another video. And this is where you literally hold your breath, and in very, very quick movements. And if it goes dotty like that, it's too bad. Don't go over it again. Need it to be running a bit faster, but it's fine. There must be some on this side. Okay, I need to define this a little bit more. As I say, flick upwards into the dark. You can see it's an RCR glass, which I usually put the logo at the back of the glass, and I put my signature at the back of the glass as well. So the little images in the front, not that it really matters, because they might want to display it with the little bunny on the opposite side, but you've got the two views anyway. Ooh. As usual. Ooh, my word. Right, so well done. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed that. See you soon. Bye bye.